Kosuanati era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yedin sem anumuaye ebre.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
Aden urefiana Zero to me manya eni about Aden wasuwa Wasuwa mani suwa fasuna day Aden meba Aden kra Eya useni da swasa Eni da suwa Eni da suwa Eni da sonsa kra Eni da suwa Oh eni da sonsa yo Uwera Eni da suwa Eya mensubi Eni da suwa I need a suwa, I need a suwa. One man, dear, oh, I do get to say. I need a suwa. Eden krona mumbe fra Onyenwe mo crown se Eden ebedi anaya benom Ana muni kadua se Eden krona mumbe fra Okransi na duane Nani pabian sintu mana Aden mi ba Aden kra Na ya usani da suasa Okransi na duane Nani pabian sintu mana Aden me ba, Aden kra Eya usani da suasa Monche wiye munuma Se wono na wampam Suwa uradi ma wodidi me Tuwa sidaju me radi Uradi Nani kumu wankuma impomwa Na uwa waba unsani sasuwa Na uma ubiribini Adaina wasuwa mani suwa fosumnyadai Adain miba, adain kra Daya usani da suwa sa
Good evening, Era One radio listeners. I want to wish you all a happy and a blessed evening. the Tuesday, the 30th of May, 2022. I want to start by asking, how are you doing today? I hope you're all doing well. It's another bright day to give thanks to God for all that He has done and continues to do for us. Tonight, again, I'm bringing you the All Divine Connection Show, and I'm your host, Charles Boison. Tonight, what are we looking at? We are looking at being intentional about your personal growth. Being intentional about your personal growth. I was supposed to be here with a group of people, specifically one of my captains, Captain Wanda. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it, so I decided to go solo. Maybe she will join later. But tonight, I want us to take a review about our own lives. I know some of you made very good resolutions at the beginning of the year. And as we go on, you want to be able to ask yourself and find out, how are you doing after the first quarter? What have you achieved and what is left to be achieved? So tonight, I want to look at some steps that will help us to intentionally, the word is intentional, making an intentional effort to grow. Not like being in the same place, but then going forward. Of course, I'm preaching to myself. We all need to grow. I need to grow. So this is not just speaking to people on Facebook, YouTube, or Modern Ghana Radio, or wherever you can catch us up tonight. So tonight, I am preaching to every one of us. We are all part of it. We all need to be intentional about our growth. Well, before I do, let me remind you where you are, and we'll continue.
Kosua nati era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yedin nsem anumuaye ebre.
Okay, so if you look at the growth pattern of, or the anatomy of your human being, I believe we grow to certain point. There are some parts of our body that keep growing. They keep growing till the day we die. But there are some aspects of our body that don't grow again. For instance, when you take your height, if you are 5'6", 5'6", 5'6", or 5 feet 6 inches, now whatever it is, you realize at a certain point you don't grow anymore. No matter what you do, the genes, they are static. You can't add any inch to your height. But of course, the other parts of your body keep growing. I mean, you can gain weight here and there, lose some here and there, but realize that when it comes to height, we don't make more, maybe a few exceptions. I try to read a lot, as much as I can. And today I read something about growth that I want to share, which is in relation to my study tonight. All right, so in case you just join us, I am broadcasting live on Era One Radio, on Facebook and YouTube. We also have a Untitled channel that is part of our channel tonight, and there are a couple of radio stations that you can listen to us. The number to call in is 2402-802-633. And if you want to text us, it is 510-931-0946. So I just want to give thanks to Dr. Setutu and the Era One team for making this platform possible for us to use. And the vision of this station is to educate. We want to educate. There are so many things that we have learned in our formative years that we need to debunk and to learn more and to live a better life. For instance, we're taught sometimes in our early years some things that now if you go back or if you reflect, realize that they don't work anymore. And we have to align ourselves to current issues and grow better. All right, so let me take you to this quick study I read and as an intro to my broadcast, and then we'll continue from there. All right, so it has to do with this guy, Daniel Yetman. He wrote this article, do guys keep growing until age 25? That's the question that he asked. So he says, at age 16, you can drive a car. At 18, you are legally an adult in most states. And at 21, you can legally buy alcohol. But at what age do you stop growing taller? Even if you hit puberty late, you are unlikely to grow significantly after the age of 18 to 20. Most boys reach their peak height around the age of 16. However, men still develop in other ways well into their 20s. And research has found that the brain doesn't fully develop until the age of 25, and men usually achieve peak muscle mass somewhere between the age of 20 and 30. And so in the article, he discusses guys typically stop growing and the factors that determine how tall you will be. All right, so if you look at what is written, which means there are certain parts of our body that cease to grow. All right, so let's link it to what I want to discuss tonight. You have to make an intentional effort to grow. You cannot say, oh, as for me, things will happen by natural causes. No, they don't. You have to make some effort. We used to think that, oh, of course, yeah, God helps those who helps themselves. I'm here to find out in the scripture, but actually it's a paraphrase. It means that if you make the effort, God is going to help you. So this week, because my panel is not here, I want to do a book review, a book study. And the book I chose for today is the beautiful book by John C. Maxwell. This is a prolific writer. He's a teacher, a preacher. Call him whatever you can. And he's written a very beautiful book. This is what I'm using tonight. The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. You can go to Amazon and get a copy. Very good book. This is a 265-page book full of inspiration. So we're going to glean our nuggets from this study. Okay. All right. So some of the salient things that he says was the law of intentionality. The law of intention. You have to make an intentional effort as to whatever you want to do. He says growth does not just happen. Life is in session. Are you present? That is the question he asked. So we're going to look at some of the nuggets that Dr. Maxwell talks about. He said, do you have a plan for your personal growth? Have you made a plan as to how you're going to grow? Not biologically growth, but then in terms of your life, how you're going to grow in your relationship, in your marriage. We all need some growing to do. How are you growing? If you put a resolution for the year, how is that going to come about? Because you don't just going to sit down and think that they are going to happen automatically. You have to do something. The other question is, do you have a strategy? Because just working hard does not guarantee success. You might be working hard. Sometimes we make a joke at this phrase as, are you working hard or you are hardly working? Somebody just sits in their bedroom, just fold their arms and his money or her money is working for her. That's another form of hard work. But what are you doing? Are you just running around chasing stuff that at the end of the day you have nothing to show off? How do you get better at what you do? And how do you improve your relationship? How do you overcome obstacles? Some people meet obstacles in what they are doing and they just stop right there. All right. So today we're going to look at some gaps that Dr. Maxwell talks about. He calls them growth gap traps. These are some kind of misconception or, assumptions that we've made in our lives that are mitigating against our growth. So we're going to be looking at that tonight. All right. So the question, do you see a gap in where you are and where you want to be? For instance, okay, you want to be a medical doctor. That is your vision. That's what you want to do. What are you doing towards it? Of course, you have to pray. And after prayer, what else do? You have to make efforts. Intentionally make the effort that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this class. I'm going to study this. I'm going to do this so that you can achieve your aim. You don't just sit down and say, oh, it's going to happen. God is going to help you, but you have to start doing something. Don't just wish that it's just going to happen. You wake up one morning and it is done. Some people inherit millions of dollars and it just happens in a flash. Thank God for them. But for some of us, it doesn't happen. Now we have to get up and go to work and work 8 hours so you can pay your bills. You have to do something. All right. So we're talking about this gap, which Dr. Maxwell calls the growth gap. And what are some of these? We're going to be looking at those gaps in a jiffy. All right. So the only way to achieve your goals, your dreams, or your aspiration is to grow. There's no way about that. If you want to achieve your goals, your dreams, and your aspiration, it's not going to come by just sitting there and wishing. You have to do something about it. Unfortunately, many have misconceptions that mitigate against the growth. There are 8, assumptions or misconceptions that Dr. Maxwell talked about that I want us to discuss tonight. The first one is the assumption gap. What is the assumption gap? The assumption gap is that I assume that I will automatically grow. It doesn't happen that way. When we were children, you didn't have to worry about, even when you drank water, maybe some apple juice, you wake up the following morning and you are seeing growth. Your body is growing. It's, responding to stimuli from natural hormones and enzymes and all that. Your body is growing, but it gets to a point. It gets to a point where the body hardly grows. Sometimes even our metabolism begins to slow down. That is when we begin to add up stuff in where we are not supposed to add. As children, we assume our growth will automatically happen. But then a time comes when our body stops growing, especially in height. In areas of life, you have to make the conscious decision to grow. You have to make that intentional decision that I want to grow. I want to grow in this area. Otherwise, you're going to be stunted. You will cease to grow. You'll be adding maybe height to your body from age less than 1 to 15 or 16, but realize that in real life, you are still marking time. So Doc says, look, a time comes when you need to stop waiting for the man you want to become and start being the man you want to be. This is a quote by Bruce Springsteen. A time comes when you need to stop waiting for the man you want to become and start being the man you want to be. If you want your life to improve, you must improve yourself. You must improve yourself. You must make that tangible target. All right, so that's what we're talking about tonight. There's more to come. But then before we do, let me give you a quick ad and then we will continue.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did because we believe that health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
All right, we are talking about being intentional about your growth. You don't want to be automatic. You don't want to put this on autopilot or auto dial. Some things will work, but some things you have to consciously, because for instance, if you want to get a new job, it's not going to come overnight. You have to start applying, going to USA jobs for those of you here, and then applying. And there are some jobs that because of your skill and expertise, somebody might just call and say, hey, we need your expertise, so come work for you. It happens. But 90%, you have to go through the process. All right, in case you just joined us, this is the Era One Radio. I am broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and our Turbo channel. All right, so I have a comment here. My sister, Sab, has joined in. Hi, Doc. Keep up the good job. Thank you, Sabina. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sabina is a good support, and thanks for the encouragement. I say hi to Jermaine, Jasmine, Jason, and our prophet Judah. All right, you are welcome, Sister Sabine. All right, so tonight, unfortunately, I'm doing solo, but that does not preclude me, stop me from doing it because I'm trying to be intentional. I've been trying to do this, and so when my partner comes or they don't come, I have to encourage myself and make sure I'm being intentional about this broadcast. I want to do it because I believe that going to school, one of the benefits that you should be able to share your knowledge. So the first assumption was what? The assumption camp that we did. And it says, well, I assume that I automatically grow. And we are saying that not everything comes automatic. You have to. We have machines that have been designed to be automatic, but even then, you have to step on the accelerator to keep it moving. Of course, there are some vehicles that you don't need any gas or, I don't think the airplane has an accelerator, but there's something in the airplane that keeps it flying and going. All right, so our second point we're going to talk about is the knowledge gap. The knowledge gap as an assumption is that it says people assume that I don't know how to grow. I don't know how to grow. And you realize that when you make excuse, you are not excused. Making excuse, not excuse. Oh, my parents did not take me to school, so I'm just going to sit in that corner and rot away. No. All right, so Sab said we are doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you. Welcome, Sab. All right. You cannot blame your parents. Well, of course, they were supposed to do it, but unfortunately, they themselves were hard pressed with cash, so they couldn't send you to school. But you are still alive. What are you going to do about your situation? Are you just going to bemoan your situation and say, my parents didn't take me to school, so I am not going to do anything about my situation? You have to be intentional. That is what we're talking about tonight. I don't know how to grow. All right. So one of the things we're going to look at is, do you have a personal growth plan? You have to put it down, because Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 tells us, write the vision plainly on the wall, on the tablet, wherever that you can see, and make sure it is going. For instance, when I start my day's job, what I do is I put down my to-do list, TTD, what I want to achieve for the day. I write down what I want to do, and that keeps me in check. That if I'm not doing it, I go back and say, oh, this is what you wrote that you want to do. At the end of the day, these are the things I want to achieve. You should be able to have a growth plan. This is what you want to do. If you want to go to college, what courses do you want to take? How are you going to get there? If you plan on getting scholarship, how are you going to do it? If you are not talented, you don't play basketball, soccer, or nothing, then of course you have to learn hard and get all the A's that will help you. So have a personal growth plan. Are you waiting for someone to hand you a growth plan? Sometimes it's not going to happen. If you are lucky, your parents can help you. Your colleagues, most people employ the services of a mentor who can help you plan your growth pattern. But if you are not doing it, you're just sitting down, you are harming yourself. We are in the 5th month of the year, May. I think there are 7 more to go. And if you made a plan to achieve something by the end of the year, begin to ask yourself, how are you going to get there? How is it working? Are you evaluating your plan? When you go to, do master's or bachelor's or PhD, they give you a program where you have to be able to do an evaluation. They give you the plan to stick to, and then at intermittent times, you have to evaluate and see whether it's working. Because if you set up a plan and it's not working, and Einstein rightly said, he said, if you do the same thing all over and over again and expect different results, you are being a lunatic. And I know my wife is laughing at me because, some of it try to do some things and it's not working, we stay there. You have to be intentional. Do you want to learn from the school of hard knocks? Experience can be a great teacher, but sometimes you can learn it the hard way. Do you have to learn something the hard way? Of course, if somebody is done it, don't reinvent the wheel. So be that necessary also hear the same thing. Oh, this is my copy answer. For instance, your business and now your baby, and I would for be say and could see also so me the if your friend did something and it didn't work, ask them or he or she, how did you go or how did it not go? You learn from that mistake and you chart your life differently. Don't say, oh, I'm also going to hit the wall and see how hitting my head to the wall feels before I can tell other people that the concrete wall is painful to hit. You don't want to do that. You don't have to learn everything the hard way. There are something that we can learn from people. And so when you gain the experience of people, make sure you are planning or charting your life accordingly. And difficult experiences often teach hard lessons. Sometimes you have to go to the end of hell to learn something. Why do you have to do it? But if you set a plan in the onset and you stick to them, it works. If any of them don't work, just reevaluate. Then it's like an animal who cannot see very well and keeps working. If it hits something, there's an obstacle, and so it slides and move around. You have to do the same thing. If something is not working, move around it. It is much better to plan your growth intentionally. You decide where you need to grow, you choose what you want to learn, and then follow through with discipline and pace. Don't let Jack's experience be your experience. Don't think, oh, this guy did it this way, so if I also do it this way, then it's going to work for me in that manner. Chart your own life, make it work for you. It's good to learn from people, but make sure you are following a regimen that is going to help for you. Don't imitate. The only time you are imitating, you are copying so you can do something better. But don't think, oh, this guy is doing. I remember one time I was in church and I think I had a suit on way back in Ghana, ICGCM. There was this little boy who was sitting by me. I had my suit on. I had this thing they put in the suit or something, and I tried adjusting it. And this guy too was trying to copy me. I said, why? I was saying, why are you copying me and do the same thing? Don't look at somebody's life to chart yours. And of course, we had a saying that the grass is greener on the other side. Or if you see the Joneses, don't copy them because their water bill might be high. Choose what you want to learn and then follow through. All right, the third point we want to look at is the timing gap. And Maxwell St. John says, it is not the right time to begin. This is an assumption or misconception we do. Or we say, it is not the right time to begin. When are you trying to begin? Some people will say, let's say we are in the middle of, okay, let me use May. Somebody will say, okay, I want to lose weight. But then you know what? I think it's the 5th month. How about I wait till December when we finish 2022? Then I will start the new year with a new resolution. I want to start with a clean plate. I want to start fresh. I don't want to start in the middle. Every time is the right time to begin. Why are you going to wait till, it's the beginning of the year, January 2023, when everybody's making a resolution before? Who said you have to stick to everybody's plan? You can start in the middle of May, beginning of May, wherever, and begin going. And so when May comes around next year, you can say, well, that is the anniversary when I started charting my plan. Timing is of the essence. And the doc says, the law of diminishing intensity, the longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds that you will never actually do them. Timing is of the essence. Sometimes we procrastinate too much. We say, oh, we are all guilty. And as I'm saying this, I'm also learning and trying to refrain from some of these things. If you have to do something, let it be now. There are some things that, of course, patience will let you wait in some way, but there are some things that we just keep on procrastinating. I will do it tomorrow. I will clean the garage tomorrow. I will do this tomorrow. When do you have today to do it? And of course, tomorrow is not promised to anyone. If you have to do it, let it be done. All right. So most of us are guilty of this. No wonder the English have a saying that procrastination is a thief of time. If you procrastinate, time is going to steal you. The Bible encourages us to visit the ant and learn his ways. When you read Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 to 11, it says, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. This little creature called ant, Bible says, has no commander. Maybe one of them is their captain or one of them is the one that leads the train. But then this little animal is so smart and wise that I have to gather my provisions in summer and gather my food at harvest. We have to learn from this little creature. It's supposed to be the other way around. The ants are supposed to learn from us, but the Bible is telling us we should go down and learn from this creature who has nobody, directing him or her, but yet he goes on to do what he's supposed to do. Once you start growing intentionally, you can keep growing and keep asking what is next. When you are done with your vision, then you can say, okay, I'm done with what I wanted to set my heart to do. Bring something more. Let me move on to the next. So if you have, let's say, a 2-year or a 5-year plan, sometimes, your mentor, higher people you get advice from will tell you, okay, have a short-term goal, have a long-term goal. The short-term goals, you're going to achieve it between a year or two. Your long-term, you're looking at 5 years or 10 years. So if you are able to finish your short-term goal quicker than expected, let's say you gave yourself a year to finish your short-term goal, and within 6 months you are done. Isn't that awesome? You can take on the new task and begin to fill in with the ones that you are supposed to start next year. You have to start intentionally. What we are saying is that sometimes some of these things that we do and we say, God is going to do it. God is going to do it. God is also saying, I am waiting on you to move so I can move on you. So we have to be sensitive. We have to be intentional. Whatever you want to do it quickly. Do it quickly. Do it quickly. And don't wait. Don't just wait for, stuff to come to you. Go for them and it's going to be cool. All right. Last week, Sunday, I've been bragging about our Nkomo Nkiti ladies, and Sunday, guess what? They showed up. They discussed a very, very sensitive, sweet topic called sleepover. Sleepover, when children want to go sleep over in their friend's house and all that. It was a very sensitive topic. And I think the house was divided. Some said, okay, it's good to go and sleep over. Others said, it's not, but then it was balanced. So I just want to remind us on every Sunday from 7 to 8, our ladies are on to give us the real Nkomo Nkiti. Listen to their clip.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real Nkomo Nkiti. Nkomo biaye sesi chin, the asentakre nu assume the real Nkomo Nkiti. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and Untitled Channel. Kaise, so we see the real Nkomo Nkiti what brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real Nkomo Nkiti.
All right, so that is our ladies, the quartet, and sometimes it's a quintet, 4 or 5 of them, spearheaded by our first lady, Sister Abena from Poma, the real Nkomo Nkiti. All right, I am still broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, or Taibo channel, Radio Ghana, and live Radio FM. You can catch us live there and share with your friends, share with your neighbors, Share with your enemies. Let them listen. And this is not the only broadcast we do. There are plethora of broadcasts. Era One is a 24/7 program. You can go to YouTube or Facebook and replay all the broadcasts that we have made since about a year or two ago, and very inspirational moments. All right. Tonight, if you want to call in, it's 240-280-2633, and if you want to text, it's 510-931-0946. I have been discussing being intentional about your personal growth. All right. So I just finished the third one. I'm going on to the mistake gap. The mistake gap. What are the mistakes that we do? And what are the assumptions that we make about that? We say, I am afraid of making mistakes. When people want to be intentional about their growth, or when people are expected to be intentional about their growth, they say, I am afraid of making mistakes. Do you know how many times Edison made mistakes about what? The lights that we enjoy. Do you know how many times? History says was 1,000 times. And all this was because he was learning another way of doing it. A mistake is another way of doing things, says Warren Bennis. He did the first one, it didn't work. And he said, okay, this first one didn't work because I did it this way. I have learned not to do it again that time, that way. He did the second one. The second one didn't work. Realized, okay, these two that I did, they didn't work. I'm not supposed to repeat them, because if you repeated the 1 and 2, then he becoming stupid. But then he refrained from the first two. He went on to a third one. That didn't work. He went 999, 1,000, and voila, electricity came. So do not assume that because you want to make your growth intentional, making mistakes is going to be a hindrance. Of course, making mistakes is part of the deal. You have to learn all the mistakes so you don't repeat them again. Because if a child learns that if he puts fire in his or her mouth, it's going to burn him, then that is a mistake made that he's not going to do again. If this child repeats that mistake, then the child is not learning, the child is not growing. Growth comes in when the child begins to, know that, okay, I did it this first time, it didn't work, so let me not do it the same way again. Growing can be a messy business, says John Maxwell. There is a possibility of admitting that you do not have all the answers. There are some places on this earth where many find it difficult to admit they made a mistake, especially some men. In some aspect of Africa, precisely, when people make a mistake, they hardly admit it. For a man from some parts in Africa to say, oh, I am sorry, I made a mistake, it's not going to happen again. No, they will gloss over it and go to bed over it. It's difficult. We are all learning. It happens. But other people too, they find it so easy. Oh, I made a boo-boo. Forgive me, or let's move on. If you want to grow, you must get over the fear of making mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable. You will bow make them no matter what. Even on your first job, you will make a mistake. Let me tell you a funny thing I did when I started working in a lab so many years ago. We have platelets and we have red blood cells for transfusion. If a patient needs, red cells, moja for transfusion, when we do all the typing in the lab, we find the patient's blood type, whether it's A, O, or AB, or whatever. When it comes to red blood cells, the red cells, moja kokono, there is a storage, a temperature that they need to be stored in the fridge or whatever. It's normally between 1 and 6 degrees. Of course, when they are shipping, you can go up to 10 degrees. But these red cells are stored in the fridge. And platelets by nature of their components, what they do and what they are made up of, should be stored under room temperature, or what we call a platelet chamber. So you put in the platelet chamber and the machine rocks the platelet so that, all the components are, all intact and ready to be used by a patient. And when I started working, I had no idea. I picked one platelet which is supposed to be stored in the room temperature, or a plate agitator. I was going to put in the fridge for 1 to 6 degrees. And my supervisor said, hey, Charles, you don't do that. If nobody saw me and I left it there for like 30 minutes, that unit was not going to be good anymore. And platelets are expensive. When you order a platelet from Red Cross, they don't charge for the unit, but then the preparation that goes into it, they expend money. So making a mistake is it's not bad. I made a mistake and I knew that, since then, I have never, ever thought of doing that. So if I kept doing that mistake, then that was going to be bad. But the mistakes are inevitable. We all commit mistakes and we learn from them. That is the beauty of the whole thing. You make mistakes. That is the way to grow. Oh, I did it this way. It didn't work. What am I supposed to do? In your bid to grow, in your quest to grow, you will make mistakes. Don't be scared to admit that I made a boo-boo. What is wrong with it? I will catch it, will be say, oh, in fact, me a mistake. Oh. Sometimes the fear is that when we confess that we made a mistake, other people will laugh at us, or, and coming back to this lab experience in Bethesda, Maryland, I work in the lab and blood bank. We have this, there's a hat, a check, also dummy of the week or of the day, which means when you make a big mistake, they put that hat on you throughout the day. For instance, if I left this platelet in the fridge that is supposed to be 1 to 6 degrees, and somebody realized that, oh, Charles, I just had a mistake, I'll be wearing that hat for the whole day, So don't be scared of making mistakes. Sometimes it happens, learn from it. You may do a boo-boo, but the only way you can grow is to get over the boo-boo, the mistake, and keep growing. All right, the fifth point is what? The perception gap. The perception gap. I have to find the best way before I start. Wow. You have to find the best way before you start. How is that even going to happen? The best way before I start. That is why sometimes I find it difficult to understand that employers want to get people who are already made up. I'm not saying they shouldn't go for the best, they should. But I remember when I was in Ghana years ago, there was a conference that was held, and I think during our national service, and we had this discussion. People are coming out from national service, they don't even have any experience, and employers are saying that I want 2 years of experience. Who is going to pick that person and give him the experience for you to come and glean from that 2 years of experience? How is that supposed to work? But goodness sake, here, people take students from university, fresh from university, they give them the opportunity to make all the mistakes in their first day, first week, first month, first year, and they go thereby. If you don't expose people to mistakes, how are they going to learn? But then the fact is that I have to find the best way before I can start. That will never come. You have to start from somewhere. You do have to start from somewhere. Quite many people believe the only way to start a project is to be perfect. Where is that perfection? One day will be perfect, but then it's difficult to achieve that perfection. You want to be excellent, but perfection is a little bit hard to attain. But you have to start from somewhere. This is in a way similar to the mistake gap. We are not omnipotent or omnipresent like God, who never makes a mistake. We cannot see the end of a project from the beginning. You can only have a drawing plan. That is why Habakkuk 2 says, set it plainly on the board or wall or whatever, write it and look at it and begin to see in your mind's eye. This is where I want to achieve. Like an architect, he draws the plan of the building. This is where I want the garage to go. This is where I want the bedroom to go. They see that end from the beginning. But even that is not guaranteed. It is only God who knows the end of our life from the beginning. And he is the only one that, can help us decide on what we have to do. So you have to start from somewhere. You don't have to have an excuse that, oh, I have to see the perfection. I want it to be fresh. I mean, especially when people want to take a step like marriage. I want to have 200,000 in the bank before I even propose to the lady and start. It is good. You don't want to start marriage, being a wreck to your spouse or whatever. But it's not everybody who's going to have 200,000 in the bank before they can start marriage. Have somebody who loves you. All the woman needs, all the men needs was to have a person who has a vision. That what, today I am riding Zion train. I don't have a very good car, but you know what? One day I want to get you a jet fighter or something. Just make something up and make it work. I'm not saying go and lie to your spouse that you're going to take them to the moon or whatever, but make tangible, intentional goals. Today I'm riding a bicycle. It doesn't seem much. There's not much to it. I don't have much to my name. But, I have this plan that one day, whatever job I'm doing now, I want to be the CEO of this company. Haven't you heard about stories about people? I know of one Ghanaian. I mean, he even worked in the White House. This guy came to the country. He found himself working in a hospital as a janitor, and he ended up going to school to become a physician. I mean, all these things are possible. Don't stay where you were and don't say, oh, have the excuse that, I need a big capital before I can start. Start with the little that you have. Be faithful. Have integrity. And it's going to be people who have buses and cars and all that stuff. They started from somewhere. The good thing is to start from somewhere and stay to it and be faithful. Start from somewhere and continue modifying it if need be. If what you started is not working, get a different plan. Evaluate your choices. Call in experts. Go and learn from people. Just take a break somewhere. Go and say, you know what, I came to understudy you. I want to learn how you did this. And sometimes you should take away, envy and all that. I just came to humble myself and learn. How did you get this thing down? Start from somewhere. Make the step. Make the step. Of course, you know that adage. So a journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? Just 1 inch, just 1 step, and you gradually get it. Because if you say, oh, you will not move. Just the distance will scare you. And so, like a mirage, the more you move forward, the more the road becomes clearer. As you keep inching, as you keep going and getting forward, going on in life, things become clearer. So don't sit in one place and say, you know what, it's not going to help. But start doing something. Start that trade. You need, I need a capital. I need 100 million cedis or whatever it is before I can start this business. If it's only one milk tin you can buy, small, even a bit to store no more. I know of a cousin who started with just a few bottles of water, and I'm proud to say today she's doing very well. So, looking at the mirage, it seems like it's far away, but as you go closer and closer, the more you move forward, the more it becomes clearer. All right, let me see if I have any questions here or comments here. All right, so words of wisdom. Thank you, Sister Abner. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, so let me not bore with too much talking. Let me see if I can give you some encouragement. I love encouragement. We have to encourage ourselves, and let me see whether I can get a good music to track him. All right, let's see.
Sunny wechi why? Ajenya me I graduate. Only a jolly was sunny wechi bro. Many about
All right, tonight we're talking about being intentional about your personal growth. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Radio Ghana or Taibo. You can catch us live tonight. As I said, we want to look at how you can intentionally grow, not just speaking it and going to sleep, but then you acting upon what you said. We've been going through the 5 series, and tonight the book review I'm doing is by John C. Maxwell, a very prolific writer. All right, so we've conquered 5 of those, and our next one to go to is the 6th one, the inspiration gap. The inspiration, that is awesome. I love this one. And the inspiration gap, Doc says, I don't feel like doing it. How many times have we not felt like doing something? Because sometimes if we are left alone to sleep in bed, we will sleep all morning and all night. And sleep is sweetest at dawn. You don't want to wake up, but you have to get up and go to work. So sometimes you don't feel like doing something, especially when you've been let down by somebody, or maybe you went for that interview and it didn't work, or you went to work and your boss just gave it to you, basa, and I say, and some piano work could take exam B, would do nursing some all night. I saw kind of whatever I did, when I would see so many now, continuous and bias way free pot. Sometimes we don't feel like doing it, or may fail it 2 times and say, I don't have the inspiration to do it anymore. Let's take an example of David. Here was a guy, a man after God's own heart. And when you read 1 Samuel chapter 30, verse 8, David had his enemies come to, ransack their goods and stuff and took even their wives away. David was so despondent, very discouraged. But I guess he was looking for somebody to encourage him. But I believe the people themselves that were with him were more discouraged and despondent than him, because most of them too had lost their wives and everything. And so David wasn't getting no encouragement. He did not get any encouragement from them. But what did David do? Bible says David encouraged himself. And then instead of sitting down, pity-pieing and sobbing and crying, he said what? He inquired of the Lord, saying, Lord, shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered him, God said, pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover. David encouraged himself. Sometimes we do baby or brother, now we expect to kuna and answer we and answer man they encourage you, but all man can say no more go to their problem. So they not that they don't want to do it, but sometimes in that material moment, it doesn't even occur to them to encourage you. So you feel like, oh, now I'm in crash. No, they might be going through some. So sometimes you have to take the step and be like David and encourage yourself in the Lord and ask God in your closet, Lord, do I go a second time? Do I go a third time? Do I go a fourth time, or do I stop? And in the stillness of your voice, God might speak. God always do speak. So we have to encourage ourselves in that. So don't say, oh, as for me, before I can grow, I have to feel it. I have to have the goose pimple. I said, I was a dream, female strawberry between us. I was saying, Holy Ghost name movie. I can feel you, Lord. Remember Elijah, after going through the conquest of Baal and everything, Bible says what? Jezebel wanted to kill him. Sometimes I wonder, Elijah, welcome Baal and Kofunina. Why you pasa sakatu? You were scared of this lady. The lady said, Elijah, if I don't make you one of the guys you spoil, don't call me Jezebel. And he ran away. Nigeria for say he picked race. He ran away and went to hide. And there he was. There was all this rashes and everything coming in the haze. And Bible says the Lord was not there until he spoke to him in a still small voice. So sometimes you have to gather yourself, pick up yourself. Don't feel discouraged. Make that step and realize that the biggest step is the one you take. And when you did, some of us who did physics, kinetic energy, potential energy. After you've been able to overcome the potential energy, the kinetic energy, which is the movement pattern, will follow. Quite often, people will look for inspiration from needs. They themselves need encouragement. Only person will encourage you. No other form. So encourage yourself in your vision and carry on. All right. Stick to Nike's slogan. They just what? They say, just do it. Whatever you want to do, just do it. But of course, it has to be legit and worth it. Can't just do it because somebody can even praise the Lord. I want to go and steal it. I want to go and steal. So I'm just going to do it and see whether I'll be caught. Some people have that vision. Now you know what? No, I just want to do it. That's not what I'm talking about. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about the legit. the good things that we want to do in life, how you want to properly grow. And so it's not far-fetched. You look at Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. That's what Paul told us. He said, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about said things. Paul mentioned your negative being was never true. I didn't know in a true and no quarrel. Is it noble? Does it bring nobility to you? Are you right? Is it right? They say right is might. Is it right? Is it pure? Is it unadulterated? Is it lovely to look on? Is it admirable? Adia we are later no comfortable bobo we see and I said never say I mean imagine so we could be na so mo because Bible class say or comfort we are the aduane na say anchina otumi di eco free but see so no so there he has to make amends. If you are caught, then you have to pay for what you stole. But if you stole food and nobody catches you, my brother, you are safe. So don't wait for motivation. It is good. Pray and move. Sometimes it's not always that you will hear the still small words from God. My wife is always telling me, hey, it's not always that you're going to hear God's voice too. Or Kasa in several ways. In 2%, so my son, my daughter, Apreku, my daughter, Apreku. Unfortunately, Apreku is dead. Apreku, my daughter, is dead. But I'm just using an example. If you're going to say, oh, Apreku, my daughter, this is what you have to do. Sometimes it doesn't come that way. God speaks to you even when you are taking a shower. You might be singing a song, and even within that song, God begins to relay some things to you. When I used to be a very good poet in Ghana, sometimes I'm taking a shower. Maybe I'm just walking in the neighborhood doing something and some lyrics flow on me and I just put them down. And so if you desire to lose weight, motivate yourself and do it. Some people will say, oh, I'm a 3 weeks. Sometimes it doesn't take one time. Was it Elijah who told his son that go and see if the rain is coming? Go and see if the rain is coming. The servant went and said, oh, I only see the fist of a man. I mean, there's somebody's hand. So the guy was saying that from what I see, Elijah, there's nothing like rain. Just say, I don't know me who rain Elijah, stop yourself. But the guy, Elijah, knew what he was talking about. He said, keep going. How many times did he go? 6, 7 times. And so I see, rain coming. So sometimes you have to motivate yourself. One ya obi anyo. One do baby so motivate you. All right, the next one is the comparison gap. The comparison gap as a misconception. Others are better than I am. Of course, this one there, no two ways about it. There will always be others taller than you, skilled, more beautiful, smarter than you. They will be there. When I want to cry, will be a whole chain. When I worry, Miss USA, Miss Universe, whatever it is, somebody is more beautiful than your wife. That is not saying your wife is not beautiful, because the English have said that beauty is in the eye of a beholder. Into my men, I'm almost so beautiful, no. On Pakuso, otherwise, into office we in the most beautiful lady in the world. Mrs. Miriam Wine is the most beautiful person in the world. So it's all a matter of subjectivity. It depends on how you look at it. But others, somebody will be taller than you. I am 5'6". I wish I was 5'9". I'm not 5'9", so am I going to cry? No. Somebody weighs 250 pounds. They wish they were 200 or 120. No, Obi weigh 120. He or she wishes he was 190 or 200. There will always be somebody who is better than you. So others are better than me. So as for me, I'm not going to make any intentionality to grow. Don't say that. Like I said, if you're going to go to the gym and you see the men who are pulling metal, so much that their muscles, shall see, yeah, come in there, muscles upon you won't go again. Because you so be a madadian super now, the name in Tina, nam no whoever papa now shall say, Kai, maybe I no come do nothing. But you don't have to think that way. In your small corner, say, you don't want, this is my goal. Me, I want to add just 2 pounds of muscle to mine, and that is my goal for now. Do not be discouraged. Don't think others are better than you, so as for you're not going to do anything. Of course, there will be people smarter than you in every way. Some people are richer than you. Because what show account now, they compare Bill Gates and I say Elon Musk and I say Jeff Bezos much. If you buy you be jamu, you be jamu pa, we don't show. But in your small corner, whatever you are doing, the little you are doing is maybe blessing somebody. Maybe there will be a organ, there be a busumbi, $100 and 200 and also it is not much, but it's blessing somebody. Obi millions. What are they doing? So do not despise yourself. Do not despise your early beginnings. The comparison gap, we have to desist from it. Don't keep comparing. The only time you want to compare is you are comparing to be better or as the same person. But don't compare in terms of hatred. Oh, me person who said now no idea. It doesn't work. That is bad. That is sinful. So you've been to the gym for 3 weeks and still not skinnier. What are you going to do? Are you going to stop? No, you have to continue. The only healthy comparison is to align yourself to reach what others have achieved or go beyond. All right, let's talk about the last one, the expectation gap. The expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. Yeah, that's what you thought, but it's not. You thought it would be easier. No, if you saw on career, I was 30 I feel there. I feel pa the enko na me wo beye fans be $40,000 and $50,000 my account. Uji pay na taxes afa. Uji pay na so kutua light bill. Uji pay na so kutua ntu hwa okekambo ma. We calculate pa at the end of the year pa wire addition and subtraction pa that we divide or multiply by say on. No I share the tangent and coefficient no. Ubobo ma obi abenya beye maybe 900. 900 no so kra would the cow baby. It's not going to work. The expectation is not going to be easy, but still you have to forge ahead. I thought it would be easier than this. Yeah, that's what you thought. But the actuality and the reality and the assumptions are all different. What you thought and what you experience are different, but still you have to press on. If you get somewhere and you don't get where you're supposed to go, at least you tried. And it's better to try and fail than not try at all. Sometimes I'm confused. Oh, poor baby, I una na one can't be pisha one and can no be a becanawaji. Would the banam cratchy be bold. Mamba Bruchi and Kaminim say, poor ba would make an easily say, yeah, in a fire. Mamba Bruchi and Kaminim say, poor ba would make an easily power. So, oh, sister, whoever pam, some may were down for now, yeah, you. I didn't know you could easily say that. I did not know. You were gonna pa POP pa the school pa university pa who back on to crank. Hey, the pure and show no what come out to say, hey, sister, hey, Mammy Koja, no Koja sister, no Africa Hall, and I said, Queens, Ukojana, non so Minjaka can also be Joe Street, if you know, I said, Koja debut. Hey, sister, now come and say, can be at your you can't say it. You thought it was going to be easy, you have to make it easy. Say it, yeah, bounce one eye in 2 can you bounce one eye say it. It's not going to be that easy, but you have to make the effort to make it come to pass. Even those who inherited millions of currencies cannot say life was meant to be that easy. Or no, ye Janet, me assure that Bill Gates in Macrano, but do baby cry easy because can pay Janano as a sort of the man, making sure so we maintain the Jan. Yes, sir, I read them. Or Beshino, we had a podcast in Luke chapter 15 now. Or no, or 2 no catching a papa, a Japadi, a woman, a family, and or G. Sometimes I wonder, we've done this on this show before. I wonder why the father even gave it to him. And or G's canon. No kobo who brand or says can or buy. But at least he thought it was going to be easy. I'm going to have fun. No, it didn't work that way. All right. So stuff just don't happen for many of us. Most rich people create their luck. And this is how John Maxwell explains luck. He says preparation, which is growth, plus attitude plus opportunity that will come your way, plus action now to count. Action here doing something about it. That is why you end up getting what luck. Into luck now you can say, oh, my luck, you know, me luck you, because you luck, in actual fact, the definition of luck is preparation, which is growth. Your attitude to what you are doing, you are being unflinching and staying to your course. I am staying to my course. I am going to do this no matter what. Teacher, me 10% to cry. Your attitude will determine your attitude. It will take you higher. And when you get opportunity and you link action to doing something about it, that's what we call luck. Into luck. And yes, it's hard work. All right, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change the direction overnight. Where you are going, your destination, will find a place, you can't change it overnight, but the direction to take. Sometimes people start with A, no go through C, no for B, no corner no D, no check ESM, no has no bracket by F, no kwa. And so you can do something about it. You can definitely, you can do something about it. So tonight, I did my book show, my book review, and I happened to choose John Maxwell's book, The 15 Inviolable Laws. That is what I did tonight. Go back to this broadcast and listen. I am just being an encourager. I am speaking to myself as well. I'm also being intentional about my growth. I want to get somewhere, and I have to be intentional. I have to make sure I am getting there. Well, tonight it's been a pleasure coming your way on Era One Radio. My studio manager has always been Dr. Setutu, and Era One team has been our fourth, and we are moving forward. And I just want to say that Era One doesn't ask anybody for money. But Dr. Setutu has a vision. He has an intentional vision of helping the less fortunate and the needy. And so if you give a contribution to this radio station, he will not going to say no. And so if you want to say, okay, everyone, you are doing great, you are teaching and you are inspiring and motivating, we want to bless the studio so you can bless those who are less fortunate in Africa. Please call the studio 240-280-2633, and Dr. Setutu will gladly be a resource. Era One is a 24/7 radio station. We broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube. Some of our programs we do on Mondays, we have the financial premiere. When you make your money, how do you invest your money to make more for you? This year, you have to make an intentional effort to make money and make the money work for you, or put somewhere so when you retire, you don't go a begging. It's good when people do GoFund for you, GoFundMe or whatever it is. But then you have to be intentional that every month I want to save so and so. So join the Premier Financial Gurus on Mondays from 6 to 7 and learn how this investment works. Same Monday from 7 to 8, our brother Kobe comes with the Yenson program. He brings us news from Ghana, Africa, and keeps us abreast. Those of you who have been to Ghana for a long time, at least you can listen to this program and know what is going on. On Tuesdays like this, I come your way with the Divine Connection show. Wednesday, we have Yonsom. Brother Kobe again comes and inspires us with news from across the world, and he does that with Dr. Ostus and our brother, Dr. Ernesto Pokwa-Jumai. Well, on Thursdays, we have Divine Connection again. I come with a panel, and we do, a panel discussion. In the evening, we have our Rumun Sem by AJO2, Sister Mambi and Pastor Fum. This is an adult version where they teach us how to marry proper. Friday, of course, we have the Count Your Blessings, and brother, what is his name? Oh, just forgive me. Is it Brother Fum? Brother Asian. Sorry, Brother Asian and his group come and inspire us with the word of God and a lot of music. You watch that program, you get inspired. Saturday, early in the morning, 6 to 9, Dr. Setutu comes back with his Chukwuchaka train. I'm out of time. I would have played his clip for you. I'm out of time. So out of time. But then Saturday morning, join him 6 to 9. If you have any birthday music requests, just call the studio and let him play music for your loved ones. Let them know that, oh, my brother or sister is thinking about me because Dr. Ostus is playing music for me. And Sunday, we have High Life throughout the afternoons, and in the evenings, 7 to 8, the quartet or sometimes the quintet, the common the real and common ladies come and blow us up. Thank you very much for watching. Sister from Homa, thank you for joining. My own Sister Sabana, thank you for your inspiration and being a part of our broadcast tonight. Everyone that joined, thank you. Visit our website, Era One Radio, and listen to all this good and soothing music. Well, I leave you tonight. Be yourself, be you, and continue being what God has destined you to be. All right, I'll meet you again maybe Thursday or next week, and so keep watching Era One Radio. Bye-bye.